Broadcasting from the Teddy Belanger Memorial Studio, it's time for episode 122 of the Avetts and Beyond. Welcome in. My name's Todd Emanuele. We got Ryan Boyles over there on the other side, if you're watching on the YouTubes. And a special guest joining us today. We've been away for a little bit, and we'll talk about that reason and more. We'll have a little health segment or something coming up here in a little bit. But welcoming back to the show, one of our favorite guests that we have on, Daniel Coston, is back, and Daniel has some fun things to talk about. Thanks for coming on, Daniel.
Man, good to see you guys. It's
It
been a
is good to
wild
see
month
you.
or two, to say the least. But no, I've really been looking forward to seeing you guys and talking about the most recent upcoming release from Ramzoor Records is a Harpo Marx live album. I
Drum
worked with
roll?
the
I
Avetts
missed the
Brothers,
drum
I
roll
worked
part.
with the Beach Boys, I've worked with the Marx Brothers. It all makes sense in my world. So. So yes, this is the first ever Harpo Marx live album. It was recorded March 20th, 1964, done with the Riverside Symphony, hence the name Harpo Speaks the Riverside Symphony Concert. And what makes this show especially unique is that he narrates an entire performance of Peter and the Wolf. This is the only time it ever happened, and it was probably recorded by Alan Sherman's son, son of the comedian at the time. And the tapes were found 60 plus years later by my friend John.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 60 plus in two different locations by my friend
Wow.
John Tefteller, who was Groucho's archivist in the 70s and has really spent his life recovering and restoring Marx Brothers recordings. And for a number of years, there was a major label that expressed interest, but never did anything with it. And one day, Robert Bader, who actually runs the Marx Brothers estate and is a friend of mine and has written several books on the Marxists, called me and said, "We really like the work you did on these with these labels in California. Can you get us a label deal for the Harpo Marx record?" And I said, "I think I have to." It's kind of when you dream of this as a kid. Your favorite artists, so call you, "Hey man, you want to hang out, or can you do this for us?" So the label in California we discussed didn't work out. And one day, soon after, I was driving somewhere, and I was like, "I should call Dolph and ask him who he'd Oh, wait, I should call
Yeah.
him, see if he'd take on this record." And I called Dolph, and I said, "Dolph, you take this project on, you can say you've worked with the two biggest brother acts in American history."
There you go. There you go.
And Beach Boys, yeah, too. I work with the Beach Boys, so yeah, got that covered. So then I set up a Zoom call with Robert and Dolph, and looking back now, I mean, for me, it was a win-win. I knew exactly what Ramzoor could do. I knew that Dolph had always seen the labels more than just the Avett brothers or whoever they were working with at the time. He had released the Josh White record some years ago. Reissued the Sammy Walker recordings as well as Sammy's 2007 album. And I think there was a certain itch that Dolph just hasn't gotten to scratch for a while. And here he is now working with the Marx Brothers, as am I. And I'll be honest, I had not heard the recording of Harpo speaking anywhere until I heard it during the Zoom call. And I was gobsmacked. It's hitting me. This is Harpo Marx's voice. He sounds like an old New Yorker. It sounds very familiar, trust me. And then it was like, oh, this is really happening. So then over the next year and a half, I helped guide the project along to release. And it's really been wonderful. It was Dolph's idea that we announced the project on April 1st, which thoroughly flummoxed a lot of people. And man, that was fun.
Wow. That's
It was
cool.
like, yeah, that pulling off, a lot of my friends who should have known better, they're still not convinced it's a real record. But yeah, this is also the first time that the Marx estate has sanctioned the release of Harpo Marx's voice. This has never happened in nearly 90 years of recordings of the Marx Brothers. So June 5th, it's out on CD and vinyl and download. The other thing I realized afterwards was I've known for 25 years what the records that Ramzoor makes can look like. One thing that's come back from Robert and John. It's like, oh my God, this looks amazing. Yes, Chris Ethelgroth, all the team behind Dolph is like, they do amazingly great stuff. It makes me, again, look forward down the road to when the Avetts start reissuing their albums from the past, which they've only kind of done a little bit so far. But
Right.
think about that. Like if you could do what we've done with this record, and then do that with Avett records down the line, I think the fans would be very happy to
Oh
see.
yeah.
So I've prepped, the Ramsor guys. I've prepped you guys. You just didn't know. So, but yeah, this has really been a dream, and I had been working simultaneously about 4 records up until the announcement of the Harpo album. So it up until early April, it was a really busy time. But um, I'm still taking in the fact that I am working with the Marx Brothers. We have plans for more, and this is cool. This is
Well, what
really
does it mean? Tell us what it means for the family to, like you said, they're doing this for the first time in an official way. Why was that? Why is it important for them to do that now?
well, for one, my executive producer is Bill Marks, who's Harpo's son. He's 88 years old, and he told
Wow.
Robert, he says, "I would like to hear this released before I die."
Wow.
And to know that I've made that happen, and he's seen the vinyl now, he's seen the CD, he loves it. He's been doing press. We have some upcoming media with NPR and the Guardian and a few like Smithsonian. It's like, wow, he's gone to bat for us in Ramsor because he believes in this project, and Harpo does a great job. I really wish he'd gotten to do this a little more. And I should mention too that this is actually his final performance as Harpo Marx. He did a couple of public appearances after this out of character, but this is his last performance before he passed away and later in '64.
Wow.
So this is and again, it's a miracle that it happened. It's a miracle that the tapes were found all these years later and could be restored by John and his son Joel.
Right. How
And
does something like that go 60 years undiscovered? Like, how did they not know that was out there?
I will tell you what happened was about a year before the Harpo show, Harpo was going to do a final show in Pasadena, and apparently he started talking and wouldn't shut up. And we were looking for those tapes when these tapes showed up in a box marked Pasadena. I think what happens is, like most people, you put stuff in your garage, you put stuff in a closet, you put things here and there, or maybe it moves around to different houses, and you forget about it. And one day somebody tumbles over a box and says, "Oh, what's this?" And thankfully, the people that did that could one recognize what it was and restore it. It's one of the things that I have been chasing over the last several years. I've got to work with the Left Bank archives for a number of years. I found the lost Left Bank album that I had been searching for 20 years. I found a lost Chad and Jeremy album literally in the back seat of my car when Chad and Jeremy's tapes were dumped in basically it filled up the whole of my car. One day, the manager just said, "Here, take everything." And he reaches in, goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, that's the master tape you've been looking for." And it was the '70s album that Chad and Jeremy wouldn't even speak of in front of me 15 years ago when I was photographing an album from them. And 15 years later, that album showed up in my back seat. So you just keep searching, you keep digging. The reason why it disappears is all the reasons that, like, hey, where's my high school yearbook? Hey, where's the stuff I wrote as a kid? And it's all, I go through them. Lord knows my house. I'm not just collecting my stuff. I have several other archives here, and it's like, where is that? Where did I put that? So it's
so
a miracle
cool.
that it's found it all. Yeah.
You think the Marx Brothers were huge, and they must still have a big following out there. I mean, they were so famous that
They do.
something like this is, I mean, it's historic, and B, how cool to find something like this and be able to release it. So Dolph has to be excited by this too, to get that opportunity to put it out there.
I think he is. He actually posted on Instagram today and Facebook that this release would be the most punk rock release of the year, and I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, the Marxes were punk in 1915. They were the vaudeville rats. That they were Led Zeppelin and more in terms of coming and taking over a town and running before the cops got to them. So they did that pretty much their entire career.
It's kind of a shame so many of their fans from back in the day are long gone by now, that a lot of people from long ago would have really enjoyed to hear this.
I know. It saddens me it's taken this long, but that's how it happens sometimes.
You're
Well,
right.
I think, but I would argue also they did enjoy them. They enjoyed them in a different
Sure.
medium, or what you know what I mean. They enjoyed them in the medium of their time, and now this is an opportunity for a whole new generation to
Mhm.
be introduced to maybe something they've only heard of, or they've only seen glimpses of here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Or in this case,
Harpo,
something that
he hadn't
nobody's
even
ever
released
heard.
an album since the late '50s. So here we are with something not only something new, but that's never happened before in terms of Harpo on record. Yeah,
Yeah, nobody's ever heard it before. That's
right. I mean,
that to me is fascinating. I can't wait to hear this. Uh,
I'm really proud of it. We are also releasing one of the songs on it, "Guardian Angels," as a single. And I picked
nice.
that long before all the health issues that we all happened to deal with in April. So I look back now and goes, yeah, that was a sign to myself. We all need a guardian angel.
Up here in the corner, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a little QR code. And if you scan that QR code up there, I'm pointing in the right spot, right?
You are, yeah.
You
Uh,
are, yeah. It's right
that
above your
is,
head.
it's right above my head, kind of, a little adjacent to it, but it's right near me. Click on that or take a picture of it, scan it, whatever. It'll take you right to the website where you can, I guess, pre-order it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Pre-order
Pre-order now. I'm up until
Purple
June
Sheep.
5th, and again, this is a reminder of people say, how do you do this from Charlotte or Concord, North Carolina? I think, why not? You create what you want to create, and you find a way to do it. That's what Dolph has done. That's what the guys have done their whole career, and maybe some of that gumption. Maybe I shared some of that as well. So yeah.
For
This is
sure.
very cool. And obviously, it's something that you never dreamed of that you would get a chance to do.
No, I mean,
How
I
could you?
count myself really lucky that I grew up a fan of all these different bands and artists, and much as I love the Marx Brothers, that was not on my bingo card for hey,
Yeah.
go out and work with them someday. So
Bottom
Well,
bottom of the
Daniel,
barrel
maybe
as folks you'd work with.
maybe Daniel, this is like is your calling, meaning like you've Avett Brothers, Beach Boys, Marx Brothers. You've got to look for another brothers act. Like what would be the next one? A Dream Brothers act.
oh,
Have you even thought about that?
I may get a few emails tonight about that. A few brother acts that I've worked with in the past and may be calling. So
Right, I see.
you never know, but I will say too that while I don't ever see myself working in this capacity with the Avetts brothers, I would like to see them have somebody that could preserve their archives and kind of do what Wilco has done or some other acts. It's like, hey, when you've been doing this 25 years, you should take care of the past as well as the future.
And Tim
So,
Mossberger is doing his best to
mhm.
take care of that.
I mean, and hey, Tim, I missed talking to you. Yeah, I just saw a thing that he posted where it was like, 25 years ago, Bob played his first gig with the Avetts, and it's like,
Yeah.
Thomas Street, I remember that. So,
Well, we should give a little plug. I think he's getting ready to release an episode of the magazine that's going to be the 25-year retrospective, and I think he's got a lot of goodies that he's been teasing for sure.
He
cool.
definitely
Yeah,
does. He does a
those were
lot
fun
of work
times.
for that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
anyway, do we want to get into the health thing now, or do we want to save
Well,
that
I
for
think I
later?
want to set the stage here a little bit. So, like, we haven't been on the air for how long? A
It's been,
couple
I
of
don't
months,
know,
at least a
couple of
couple of months, maybe more. It's been a little dicey with our schedule. I want to build off of what you were saying, Daniel, about like you're looking at your life and the future through different eyes now. We're all of a certain age where stuff happens. I guess I don't know. That's what I'm realizing for myself, at least, is that I've had some health issues with like my kidneys, and I've had to like figure out like what does that mean for my diet or my whatever, right? And it's stuff you don't expect, or sometimes you can't even explain, right? And so I know that you got caught really unaware by something that just put you like literally flat on your back that you had to take care of. And I don't know, what do you want to say about that?
And some people may have seen my post online in the last couple of weeks. So I was coming back. I went to Ohio to visit my wife's family for Christmas, and I was heading to a radio show in Columbus, and suddenly got really sick and knew something was really wrong. So took myself to a hospital, spent a couple days in the hospital up there, where they said there's a mass on your kidney.
Good
But
Lord.
eventually they, again, no outward signs that I had noticed up until then. I probably had it for at least a couple of years or more. But they said, well, if you want to have the surgery in Charlotte, we'll let you go home. So we drove home, and I worked for a couple of days thinking, okay, this is what I'll do until they said schedule the surgery. And then the following Monday, things went really bad again.
Right.
And I was been in the emergency room here in Charlotte for about 3-4 days, and was bad enough that they actually said, we're moving the surgery up because we just don't. It was to the point where I didn't know if they didn't think I didn't know if I would survive until the end of the week, and I didn't know if I would survive until the end of the week to have the
Yeesh.
surgery. Yeah, and then so they removed the kidney, which did have a cancer mass, but they think it was all contained, and so now I'm rocking the unit kidney now.
Mm.
I just discovered my great grandmother lived with a one kidney for the rest of her entire life. I knew her
Wow.
into her 80s and 90s, so it can be done. That's literally I went from I'm doing all these things and I'll come back and I'll figure out April to I don't know I'm going to survive the week to okay
Yeesh.
now I'm home and now and I did an interview for Goldmine magazine with an artist like the day after I got out of the hospital. So that's the point where I started posting stuff online about what had happened. Yeah, when you go through something like that where you're suddenly having to face something you didn't plan on facing so quickly, and then you're literally just dropped back in your home going, what was that? You do
Mm.
view your life differently. I guess you're bound to.
Yeah.
I will say that uh, while there's always things in the past I wish could have gone differently. I'm prouder of the crazy kid that went out and did all these things with all these bands and all these artists. And I'm again enjoy it all, enjoy every sandwich. But now I see this as a way to look, then start again and say, okay, now what? I actually put this to Dolph and I said, pass this on to Scott and Seth. I said, this is a subject to write about. What if you suddenly were in a position where you lost everything you knew that you loved, and then it was restored to you almost just as quickly, which is kind of what
Right.
happened to me. So
Oh,
that's the next record. That's the next song I want to hear them sing about. So I don't know if that's been relayed yet, but I hope it has.
well, it can be
You know,
done because they
yeah.
listen. Sure.
I,
Yeah.
I, I tell everybody, thank you for your your emails and calls and concern, and I'm glad to
Yeah.
be here. And I say this a lot in the last few weeks. It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
It's
I
good to
know
see
that's
you
worth
too.
saying. Like, you need to, there's a lot to that where it's like you need to not only, like you just said, I think, buy all the concert. Like, you're never going to, there's the old saying, you're never going to regret
Mm-hmm.
buying the concert tickets. You're always going to regret not buying them
Not
if
going.
it, like, and
Those are the
I
only ones.
know
Yeah.
that goes into Avet FOMO and all the things that all of us as fans of a band of some kind go through. Like when you see your friends out on the West Coast having the most best time ever. But yeah, I got really reflective with my issues of like thinking like, what if I can't go do something again because I have a different, you have like something that it isn't just like there's no silver bullet fix to some of the things that go wrong, and what does that change for you? And so I don't know. I think Todd, you've been feeling that too.
I absolutely like I'm diabetic. I've been diabetic for 15 years and I'll admit I was not taking care of myself the last few years and it got to a point where I got the flu about a month or so whenever we stopped doing the show. I had the flu right after I turned 50 and my numbers were way off and I knew something was wrong. I went to the doctor and if I want to see my kids grow up, basically I have to change the way I live. And I'm almost 2 months in now to new me, and I absolutely feel a million times better than I did 2 months ago already. And it's gonna hopefully, keep getting better. You got to eat something every once in a while that's bad for you. Like last night, I had pizza and wings. It was spectacular. It was the first time in 2 months that I had something that wasn't good for me. But I'm adjusting because I want to see my grandkids. I want to see my kids
You're going to
grow up and
appreciate
be
that
grown.
pizza and wings better now when you
Yeah,
Yes.
when you have it.
Oh, wait.
absolutely. But
First
I
time.
just
Yeah.
I feel like a new person, and just the whole thing. Like I was so off that it brought on like anxiety I never had, and it's just been a weird couple of months. But I feel so much better already. That I just got to keep doing what I'm doing because I don't want to go back to feeling the way I did, and or worse. It could have killed me. It was bad for a while. So, yeah, it's eye opening for sure when something goes wrong. When you hit a certain age, especially, and something goes wrong, it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna feel better the older I get. I've got to make sure I'm doing good things now so I can last 20, 30 more years or more.
There's also a couple other things that went through my mind is like social media really messes with your mind because
Sure
not
does.
only do you have the FOMO of like seeing what other people are doing, but then other people don't know really what you're going through. Like they only see the best parts of maybe your life because that's all
Sure.
you put out there, maybe. And then it becomes this thing of like it becomes very distorting when it comes to like everybody's going through something. There's lots of our friends in the Avetts community that have gone through health stuff and have had to make life changes, or like you said, just need to make a change that's going to make their life better.
Right.
And I think we need to support each other in that. I guess that's another reflective thing of like we need to be here for each other. And I just want to say, I'm happy to see all of you again. I'm very happy to be here with you, Todd. And
Absolutely.
I want to say this too. For what we three have been through, y'all are looking damn good right now.
I've had some friends who didn't know what had happened. They said, "Oh my God, you look great. You've been doing okay." I'm like,
Yeah.
So let me ask you a personal question, Daniel, about the kidney thing. Like, how does that affect the diet and everything? Can you eat whatever you want, or do you have to be really careful now?
I've been told I can pretty much be, as I was. There were a couple of things like ibuprofen they wanted me to cut back on, but that's pretty
Okay.
much it. But I also kind of used it as a way to kind of change my diet or at least my water intake for the better. So
Yeah.
again, it's
Water's a big thing.
water's a really big thing, and I'm trying not to down soda every day like I did for years.
That was the
Same.
biggest change I'm dealing with is because I'm not a coffee drinker and I was a soda drinker, and I've found one soda that kind of is okay, but I still need to limit it. And
Yeah.
so listen to this. My urologist told me that I need to try to consume 2.5 liters of water per day.
A lot of water.
And so that is physically hard. That's difficult. I'm just gonna say it, and so I'm trying, but it's a day by day thing just to
I
do
drink
something
3
that
of these a
basic.
day.
Yeah,
It's of water. Now,
Yeah.
I am done with soda. I'm done with anything that's got that fake sucralose, whatever. It's supposed to be good for you if you're diabetic, because it's not good for you. It's
right.
bad.
No, it tricks your body. Yeah,
Yep, that's all
Yep.
it does. So I am a new man, you could say. But that pizza was good last night.
that's
I'll tell
awesome.
you that.
I'm especially you're part of the world in pizza and wings. Yeah, I think
Yep.
I could handle
There's
that.
some good. There's some good pizza and wings up here. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Well,
man. Oh, okay. So we're all doing good. It's so good to see both of you again.
Yeah.
I could say in person. We're not really in person, but uh, with all the stuff that's been going on, man, I am so happy to be back here. Like Ryan said, it's just great to be back. Let's talk about something that you teased, Daniel, last week when John Sterling. Now Ryan can check out here for a few minutes because he's not he's not a baseball fan. He doesn't really know who John Sterling was, but I'm a huge Yankee fan.
Same.
And you're telling me stories. You're a big Yankee fan too. John Sterling, legendary Yankee broadcaster since 1989, passed away last week at the age of 87 years old.
Something like that. He was broadcasting up to like a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And he passed away. And you have a story that involves John Sterling and the Avett brothers, and I'm dying to hear this.
So one night, I want to say it was around 2019, 2020. My wife was working a meeting downstairs, or I'm sorry, downtown. And I said, I'll come, I'll pick you up. And it was about 11 o'clock. And I said, oh, this is kind of clear night. Let me go pick up a Yankees game. So I was picking up the AM feed on my car. And John, it's like eighth inning, ninth inning. And John Sterling goes, well, tomorrow's game in Baltimore has been changed to 3 o'clock because there's some group that's playing before the game, Avetts brothers. and then proceeds to rag on the Avetts for the next several minutes. But they messed up the game time, and he's gonna have to get there earlier, and this and that. And he's like, I don't know this band. At one point, he says, "I love their on Broadway album," like they were Springsteen or something. And of course, a few years later, who was on Broadway? The Avett Brothers.
Right.
So,
That's funny.
and this went on for 8-10 minutes. I am crying with laughter. I am texting Dolph. I'm emailing Scott and Seth and Bob going, oh my God, my life is complete. The team that I've been following since I was 8 years old is ragging on you guys in the most, I was just like a complete, like, you can't make this up. I can't believe this was the night I tuned in and this is what
Yeah, that's crazy.
So now
serendipitous.
it was quite. Now the end of that is the Yankees were fighting for that final playoff spot at that point. They lost that game the next day, which the Avetts played. Then they lost the next game, which meant they lost home field advantage for the play-in game, which then meant they got skunked by Boston in Boston. So I don't care if you're the New York Yankees. Don't be messing with Avett Nation. And then,
the curse of Avett Nation. Wow.
Is that audio out there somewhere? Do you think of that? I mean, it must be.
It has to be. I have to look. I'll have to see when the Avetts played at Camden Yards. I can look it up from there. It was like the 8th, 9th inning. I mean, literally, my wife came out, and I'm still just I'm lying on the in my car seat, just crying, going. The 8-year-old in me just had a total freak out. So it was
so
hilarious.
Is that the show though with the poster with Bob Crawford as posing as Billy Ripken?
I think it was. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So was it 2021? Perhaps.
Might have been, yes.
I have to look that up. That's good. That audio has to be out there. I'm going to be scouring the internet tonight. I gotta hear this.
It went on forever. It was just, again, it was like to this day, the pull and the reach that the Avett brothers have across the world is amazing to me. It's something, I viewed it all from a different perspective for years because I was in that circle. I was out. I've weaved in and out of their story for pretty much their whole career. But I view it now from the way that a lot of the fans do. I go, this is really cool. They've created something that it means so much to so many people, and it's still ongoing. I've loved that they've gotten to do this album and tour with Mike Patton. Short story about that. In 1990, they've talked about, like the Avetts first saw Mike and Faith No More at the Weenie Roast here in Charlotte in 1997. I not only photographed that show, I wrote most of the program that Scott and Seth were holding in their hands. The magazine I was with back then, Tangents Magazine, had been contracted to do the program. So I not only was there when the Avetts saw Faith No More, I want to ask Scott and Seth this. I saw Mr. Bungle play at a Mexican restaurant in Spartanburg in 1999. They came out in Hawaiian shirts. It was everything you'd expect it was. And I think Scott and Seth were there as well. But I would love some more information about that. So I know what it means to them. I know what it means as a longtime fan. You cross that plane between you're a fan, now you're working with somebody you would literally have been a fan of your entire life. So I dare say it applies to some of the other projects we've been talking about here.
Got to be a pinch me moment for them because I saw the Opry just put out a nice video showing behind the scenes of like them going there, and Mike Patton's like, kind of a fish out of water, but he's like, it's wild that he's doing this new thing, which is totally cool. And even just the way that they've talked about how they corresponded for a while, but then working on the album was like this, kind of a remote, correspondence and kind of some would say a strange process to put together something that's so, like, all the songs on the album are like different. I mean, it's all like really, really, eclectic but it feels eclectic and eccentric, but also like,
really good.
Like, well, good, but like I'm saying, like, it's like every song you don't know what you're getting, but then you're like, wow, this is like really, it's satisfying.
What I also like about it is that for me, it's the first record they've made in a while where they didn't worry so much about sounding like the Avett brothers. that they
Yeah,
were
well,
just creating. They were just like, hey,
right.
this is us with Mike Patton. Let's see what happens. And I would like to, again, I'm biased in these opinions, but I would like to see them carry that forward into whatever they work on next. I still really think there's that next record in them that's sort of
Mhm.
like the true sadness for this decade,
Mm.
or God bless Mignonette, or Robbinsville, which
Both he's
surprise
gone,
might be
eh?
my favorite records,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
especially because I worked on them.
And they
Um,
did go into this whole thing with an open mind. They said they couldn't describe what the tour was going to be like because they didn't know what they were going to do.
yeah,
Like they had an idea to start with, and then it would kind of evolve from there. And we've kind of seen that.
and I like that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost like where you sometimes you have to define the box before you know what you can do within the box.
Right.
And they were like, okay, this isn't. We don't know quite what this is, but it will tell us. And sometimes that's the best place to be because the music and the vibes tell you, and you go with it. And I've worked on produced records like the Circle album that we did a couple years ago. It's going to be out later this year on vinyl. That was a 5-year project. Working 4 different studios across the country. It definitely pushes your patience to get something done or get something over the line. But then you also say, okay, the songs will tell me what kind of record this is. The music will tell me where this is going to go. And once you allow yourself for that to happen, really good things can come out of that. So I'm
Mhm.
really glad they've gotten to do this. I really wish I had seen them in Greensboro, and there's the set list.
Yeah, I wanted to show this because I thought we could pivot and like it's not just the album they put together, which they play the majority of the songs, all of the songs almost, I think, except for one in the concert that they put together, the lineup, the set list here. But they also have these really, really like classic, like cover. The covers are like a third of the show,
Yeah,
and so you see like King of the Road, and you like. I'm just telling you, having been there to see it, Easy. All these songs that were just like they're classics that make you think of like for me makes me think of like the vinyl that my parents played when I was like a kid, right? And that's kind of like I didn't know what my parents' musical taste was, but apparently it was just like this mishmash of everything. And then so we're sitting there singing along to all these classic songs, and it's just a really fun time. And then you have the Avetts performing it, and then Mike Patton doing his thing. It's really wild.
yeah.
And it's going to turn into more stuff, I would imagine. I mean, they mentioned this being their debut album. I mean, I think they're planning other things together.
I would hope
Seems
so.
like.
I really
Yeah.
would love that. I mean, it's almost like you needed to get this record done before you say, okay, now what?
Right.
And I hope they
And they
have.
really seem to be having fun together.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah. I said, unfortunately, the Greensboro show. I had the photo pass for the Greensboro show, but that was the day I got out of the hospital. So I'm hoping to see them somewhere, maybe somewhere up north in June. That's my tentative plan right now.
I think you need to try. I can't believe you didn't go to that show after you got out of the hospital, Daniel. What are you
I,
thinking?
my wife was like, no.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh, by
probably a
the
good
way,
idea.
no.
And I'm sure you didn't disagree with her at that point.
No, 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 no.
No,
Much,
you can't push it.
the whole weekend, I ended up doing an interview. That's a crazy story. I'll relay too. That weekend, I got out of the hospital. But there was like all these things like, oh, I could do that. Oh, yeah, I really shouldn't. So I waited a couple days before I started working again. I was a good boy.
So you only sat back for like 2 seconds saying, "I'm alive."
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm alive. I live. Okay, back to work. So right before I went up to Ohio to visit my wife's family, I got an email out of the blue from an artist who I had been trying to interview for 26 years. She was part of a record that my wife had actually introduced me to when we started dating, and one of those records is called a duo called Lyons and Clark. Very kind of jazzy harmony pop. It was released by Shelter Records in '76. If you look at the set or the musicians on it, it's like a yacht rock fever dream. It's like anybody who was in that scene was playing on this record. And out of the blue, she wrote me and said, "Yeah, I'll talk to you next week." 2 days later, she calls and says, "Oh, my duo partner Pam just passed away. Now I really want to talk." And then it turned into, "Okay, well, I'll call you when I get back to Charlotte. I'll call you when I get out of the hospital. I'll call you when I get out of the hospital again." And we finally got that interview done the day after I got out of the hospital. And then I spent basically the next day working on it to send to Goldmine magazine. So it's online now. And it was a twofold thing. One, I'd waited 26 years to do that interview. I was going to do it. And two, it allowed me to feel like me again. So when you go through what we've all been through, you need those things that say, wait, I'm still me. I'm still here. So yeah,
doing this show.
Yeah, like doing the show.
This is therapy.
Quite. So yeah, it's little things. Despite everything that happened to me in April, I still turned in my article 2 days ahead of deadline. That is such a writer thing, but it's just like,
yes,
stop me.
That is awesome.
Man, that is.
So all the editors and publications out there, you heard that, right?
No excuses.
Death-defying Daniel Coston.
That's right, darn right. But we're still turning in our articles on time, and we're still going to have it in under 1,600 words. So
that's incredible.
Man,
all right, I gotta talk about Mumford and Sons in this, just because I've been obsessed. And
wait a minute, we talked about this, okay?
Did we?
Well, I didn't finish. Go. I'll let you proceed.
I just want to know Daniel's opinion on Mumford and Sons. I always thought there was a rivalry with them and the Avett brothers, but it turns out there isn't. They absolutely love the Avett brothers and give tons of credit to Scott and Seth for showing them the way. And when they were writing their first album, they listened to Mignonette and other albums on repeat and took so much inspiration from them. I didn't know this until this week when I've been obsessed with their new album, Prizefighter, which is amazing. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it.
I've not heard it. I really am anxious to hear it.
It's so good. But what is your take on the whole Mumford and Sons Avett thing? Do you have a take on it?
That was more to do with fans. I always felt, they were on the record saying that the Robbinsville album really was like a touchstone for them. And that was like, okay, this is the way forward. And if you imagine these guys in London listening to that record and Mignonette on repeat, you can hear why that first album evolved the way it did.
I knew that.
This is the source. Sorry to interrupt. This is the source. I was trying to find this all day after you told me, Todd, that we were going to talk about Mumford, but I think this is the meme that started it all, and I feel like this is the thing that I saw that made me think there was a thing, but there's not a thing. I think this is just some bitter fan, like you said, Daniel, some bitter fan trying to make some funny memes here. But yeah.
Well, I think what happened was Mumford did hit that. I don't know if they hit at the same time, but obviously they hit a
debut album came out 2007, so it was close to the same time.
The Avetts were starting to get known by folks nationally, but it wasn't the Mumford and Sons level those first two records hit. And when people hear that, I'm sure some fans will, what's this other group? They might just trying to sound like Mumford and Sons. But that happens, think about all the bands in Liverpool who have been kicking around for years, and then the Beatles come along, and suddenly every Merseyside band gets compared to the Beatles. Some of them really did not like that, but it happens because people, you've got big choruses and you've got a banjo. So, but as we know, the Avetts are one thing, and Mumford and Sons, and a lot of other groups that have taken influence from the Avetts are something else. I like hearing that. I like hearing that in Camp and all these other groups that have I remember a time when the Avetts were coming up when people would boo or run screaming from the room when somebody started playing a banjo. And now you go to a rock show and somebody pulls out a banjo and you hear thousands of people go, "Yeah, banjo!" Well, I know where that came from. I know how that started. So if it means that people are digging the music and a few of them come back to the Avett brothers, then so be it.
It just made me happy to hear that they absolutely love the Avetts, and I'm sure the feelings are mutual. I guess I haven't heard much the other way, but they must appreciate what they do, and the inspiration they took from them, must mean something to them. So
yeah, every band has their own path. Every yes, Mumford and Sons were a certain band in the zeitgeist for that from those first couple of records hit. But the Avetts, I think, have meant something more to a lot of other people, and obviously the documentary helped with that.
Sure.
You know, every band, every artist has to find their own path, and sometimes it involves selling millions of records in 15 minutes, and sometimes it's finding a way to reach people over 25, 30 years. So, but I'm glad the Mumford and Sons are back with
Well
the new.
said.
Yeah,
Well said.
yeah.
The new album you have to listen to. It's so incredibly good. I can't stop listening to it. So
Okay.
I had to get it into the episode here. Thank you, Ryan, for listening to me.
Todd is not a paid spokesman for Mumford and Sons or the Red Clay Strays. I just want everybody to understand that.
Which is
I was
I got to work with them. I did a whole fashion shoot with them in like 2019 that never got published because the magazine folded. But really sweet guys, and the singer, one point I said, "Well, you definitely have taken some Johnny Cash influence," and he says, "Oh, cool." He's like, "You ever, did you grow up listening to Johnny Cash?" I said, "I worked with Johnny Cash." So,
Mr. Cash,
Mr. Cash,
you're in good hands.
That's right.
That's good.
Well, so when a project like that I love hearing about behind the scenes stuff, period, which is why I love talking to you. But like when something like that happens and a project doesn't like see the light of day, like you said, do you retain any rights to like have that stuff in your archive?
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, that's the thing I learned from other photographers, really, especially the ones from the 60s and 70s. Where you keep everything, you sign away nothing, and so I've always run screaming from contracts sometimes.
Right.
And maybe that was good, maybe that wasn't, but it allowed me to retain my work and keep, ultimately it comes back to me and my work. And I'm proud of it. So
I assume that Red Clay Strays photo shoot will come to light at some point, right? I mean, they're pretty big now.
It's massive. Every once in a while I'll see they're headlining some festivals like, oh yeah, those are the guys I hung out with at the Tipsy Burro that day. Yeah,
they're good buddies with our friend Abe Partridge. And
yes, I just saw playing with David Childers on Friday.
Yeah, Abe's awesome.
I will tell you, cool. Yeah, David is playing everywhere around here. He's looking good.
He really does.
And is really catching fire again. So any chance you have to go see Abe and David and the Serpents. And actually David has announced he's doing a whole month of dates, I think in August, with Jason Ringenberg of Jason and the Scorchers. And it's basically going to be David and Jason backed up by the Serpents. So prepare for fire. So this is going to be
ready, Childers crew. All
Childers crew. We got our hats on and everything tonight here. So.
It's been good to see
David, he has been looking amazing, and he just seems so happy to be out playing all the time, and that makes me happy too.
Well, he's another shining example of buy the tickets, play the show.
Yep.
Don't say no to anything that you love, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. He also gave me my favorite comment when I had to post talk what had happened to me last month. Everybody was very supportive, and David's was "Welcome to the club."
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, David. I expect nothing less from you.
It's a badge of honor, I guess, in some ways, right?
It is. It is. And you'll appreciate that. Definitely in the last month, my humor is definitely way more upstate New York side of the mouth. It's I'm a North Carolinian that's been hiding from upstate New York for 40 something years. So that you can't. It doesn't. I can't hide it for too long.
Yeah. It will never go away. That's for sure.
God bless.
You can't make it go away.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to remind everyone. What do you have, Todd? I got one more thing I want to share with the group.
Go on.
So before we close out, I wanted to share something with both of you and then with everybody listening. Todd and I we talked about this last year when we were making big plans about how to do new things on the show and how to make it cooler or more fan interaction type of stuff. And the first thing we're going to do is introduce a new series of Avetts and Beyond giveaways. So I wanted to show off what's going to become the first in a series of giveaways to the fans, which really I think is going to become like a showcase of the fan community itself. In the case of this first giveaway, my wife has been going through all this stuff. She makes stuff. She's made stuff. Yeah, she's made stuff that's just amazing for charity work and for, within the fan community. She was kind of like seeing all this stuff she just had in, her like artistic, her workspace, and just saying like, why am I holding on to this? So she's volunteered to just give some of this stuff away. And what I wanted to do was show you guys what that looks like and let everyone know kind of how they can participate in the giveaway. So let me bring up an
I don't even
image.
know what this is.
Oh wow!
Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna bring up. This is her artist. Well, she loves to do all of these. Well, she makes quilts, and so a lot of times she will do like a treatment outside in our backyard, showing off those in nature. All of it's very in tune with that. The designs that she does. These are pillows. They're quilted though. They're hand stitched.
Oh, wow.
All of the materials are like the same type of stuff you would see in one of the quilts that she's made or she makes. And these are Avett Brothers lyrics on pillows. So we're going to have a giveaway where we're going to post on Facebook. I know this is going to air on Friday this week. By the time you are listening to this, there will be a post in Rejects, the group Rejects, and the group Avett Guild, where you can basically pick a pillow that you like, and then we're going to do a drawing and just pick the name. That simple. So stay tuned. Look in Rejects, look in the Guild, and I've got another photo that maybe gives you a different.
Are you giving the chair
here.
away too? That's a nice chair. I like that.
We're not giving away the chair. We might give away the chair. I don't know. We're doing some spring cleaning.
Tough to mail the chair.
A comfy chair.
Here's another view. But so we've got lyrics. There's hope for sure. Love thy banjo. That's the only one that's not a lyric. I just saw a shooting star. Love is love. The day will come. The sun will rise, and we'll be fine. So everybody, stay tuned, and yeah, more to come with this.
Cool. That's exciting. Thank you to your wife for volunteering that stuff up. That she spent lots of time on working on that.
Very cool.
She's very talented.
Yeah.
Well, it's stuff, and you know what? This is kind of going back to the health discussion. Is like, honestly, the whole point of this is to bring joy to other people. It's kind of like when you're cooking and you don't like to eat what you cook. It's sort of like, let's give it to people that are gonna love it. And honestly, these lyrics and things mean so much to people that the stuff that we've made or that she has made for folks in the past, like that's what it's all about. It's about that connection that people have to a moment or a set of words like that.
Love it. So we're gonna post something soon on that, sometime this week, and you'll have a chance to win. That's cool. I like that, Ryan. Good on you.
All right.
So let's see, Daniel, we're going to wrap it up here now with you. Any projects coming up besides the Harpo thing? I know you want to talk about that a little bit more here to wrap it up, but
yeah,
DanielCoston.com is the website you want people to go to.
Yeah.
And don't
then
forget
you can
that
also
QR code.
There, right there. And you can also go to danielcoston.photoreflect.com, but go by danielcoston.com first. And Daniel Coston Photos on Instagram. You'll see all a bunch of new things, old things, and things I've forgotten to post. I finally remembered to post. Hopefully you'll be seeing that next few months. A few more records coming out. I have been working with the Strawberry Alarm Clock on their new album. They're only 60 years old, but man, this new record's amazing. I didn't produce it, but I was basically the label adult. I was the liaison. I've gotten to shoot their front and back cover. I went out to LA in February, got to do this. That record's out in August. The Circle album I produced a couple of years ago is now coming out on vinyl in July with a new single. So please check that out. It looks like the new or the final Chad and Jeremy double album, which I've been working on for a couple of years, pulling things. And again, much like the way that we save the Harpo recordings, I've been working on saving Chad Stewart's archives. And it will be a double album of all unheard material spanning 50 plus years. So look for that early next year. And probably not the last project I work on with them. So I will mention too that some people have asked when I was going to do another show. Well, the place where I did the exhibit last year has moved. So I am looking for a new place to do another show. I also would be open to either maybe something you guys and I do down the road where I just spend a night showing you pictures from different parts of my archives. I would love to do a night where I take you in the pictures from Mignonette or Robbinsville or other
great.
eras. I'm happy to do that because also
I'm
again,
gonna go ahead and say yes.
Yeah.
cool,
Yep.
okay. I'm all for it. Again, and this is something it's always been in my head, but it's definitely been brought back to me in the last month. It's like my closet doesn't care one way or the other. I really want to get this work out. I think it stands on its own. I mean, this is me. This is this goofy kid who's known these guys. I've known Bob now almost close to 30 years. So I'm happy to share this work with others. So hopefully that's something we'll do in either in a show or something with you guys down the road. So it's something we'll definitely discuss. I will mention, Bob is on tour for his new book. So I'm really proud of him for that. I'm actually going to be in Chapel Hill on the 26th of this month. I'm there for something else. So my plan is to go by and see him speak at Flyleaf.
Nice.
And he's being interviewed by my friend David Manconi. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely hoping to see the Avetts somewhere in the next month, and then I will be at the Scruggs Festival later this year. So that's going to be fun. That's
okay.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, I have booked that, and I'm going as well. And it's my birthday, so we have to break bread or eat cake or something.
I would love that. No, this is going to be a massive weekend. I can't wait. I will be there full on. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
That's great. And of course, June 5th, Harpo Speaks, the Riverside Symphony concert comes out. CD, vinyl, digital formats. Click on the QR code up above here, and it'll take you right to the website where you can pre-order that. And if you're a fan of the Marx Brothers or anything old like that, I mean, this is just historical and very cool. And it's so cool that you got to work on this and put this out.
Thank you. And my thanks to Dolph and Ramsor and the whole team for pulling this off. Again, I feel like all my years with Ramsor has kind of led to this, and I hope we get to do more. Thing I'll mention that this just happened over the weekend was when I was a kid, I would go to baseball card shows, and they would sell these things called Nostalgia Digest, and I would buy them up because nobody else was talking about radio shows or comedy teams of the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and that magazine is still around, and they interviewed me over the weekend
No kidding.
for the radio show, and it was just like the 12-year-old in me would have just thought this is the coolest thing.
Full circle moment, I guess, right?
Full circle. I had this whole line prepared of like long-time reader, first-time caller, and I just never got around to saying it. So I'm saying it. So there you go. But again, if I'm out and about and you see me, and come say hello. And hello to the guys and all the fans who've been following all this madness. So again, as we've said before on this show, it's good to see you again. So
yeah, man,
I'll see you guys soon.
So happy that you are working as hard as you are and you're here with us, looking great, feeling great, and it's so good to see you, Daniel. Anytime you want to come on the show, you have an open invitation, and I definitely want to do that thing with the pictures. That'll be cool. So
I would love
let's
to
make sure that happens down the road.
Take you through like the recording sessions and so people can see what it was like. I know they've seen pieces of them from 3 issues of Mignonette and Robbinsville, but there's a whole lot more that's there. And I'm still finding things. I'm still finding, okay, yeah, here's this role of them at WFAE promoting Mignonette. I just found that role again recently. So there's a lot in the archives that people I think might enjoy seeing.
Who knows what's rolling around in the backseat of your car?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like you can't make this up. And Chad and Jeremy was an act that I actually worked with. I shot 2 records for them in the 2010s. And one day, again, the other thing about life and what we're discussing is don't say no. I mean, even if you go, I am too busy, I'm too this, I'm too that. If it sounds like a good idea or good crazy idea, go do it. Go just see where it lands. If it doesn't work out, fine, but you can no what ifs, no regrets. Go do it. 20 years ago, if you'd said, okay, you're eventually going to shoot 2 records with this band and you're going to find their lost albums in your back seat, I wouldn't have believed it, but it happened. And it happened because I was willing to see where it led me.
Inspirational episode of the Avetts and Beyond. let's end it right there. Daniel Coston, thank you so much for coming on. No regrets. I like that.
That is my sorry. That's my. I had to slip. This has been the most amazing show. I have to slip in this dad joke of like the only other bit of advice is if you're getting a tattoo, just make sure you do spell check.
Right.
One last Yankees thing, which you'll appreciate. I was on a radio show a few years ago, and the guy dared me. He's like, "What was the first team you followed?" I said, "81 Yankees." And he said, "I bet you can't even name anybody the starting lineup." I'd name the whole starting lineup, literally. Like, and he's like, "Who's the reliever?" Goose Gossage. Oh, who's the shortstop that replaced Bucky Dent? Larry Milborn. It's like, yeah, don't mess
brain
with
works.
me. It's like it's still there. Yeah.
My brain works like that too with baseball. It's weird. Like I can't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I can tell you stats from the 80s. Yeah.
Yep. Same.
Yeah.
Or like the all the songs in the first two Left Bank records and all that stuff. Hey, find what you love and embrace it and
There you
push
go.
it forward. Yeah.
Good words. Good words to end on. Daniel, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. So glad you're doing all right and keep going, doing your thing, and we'll see you soon.